Arman Tsarukyan books fight outside the UFC after title snub today. We've got news on Arman Tsarukyan, the top UFC lightweight contender, who's been at the center of a heated title picture all year. After being passed over for a UFC title shot, Tsarukyan made headlines again, but this time it's outside the UFC. Despite his frustration with not getting a shot at gold, he's decided to stay active and keep competing. Rather than waiting for the next UFC booking, Tsarukyan agreed to a fight outside the organization against a former MMA champion. Tsarukyan's choice to compete outside the UFC comes after a controversial stretch in his career. Earlier this year, he was scheduled to challenge for the lightweight title, but had to pull out due to injury. Then the UFC booked Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje for the interim belt, leaving Tsarukyan on the outside looking in. So for now, Tsarukyan isn't cooling off. He's fighting, staying sharp, and keeping his name in the headlines. Next up, we'll see how this outside UFC clash unfolds. Dana White ordered to testify in new UFC antitrust lawsuit. In legal news from the world of MMA, UFC President Dana White has been ordered to testify in a new antitrust lawsuit involving the promotion. This case was brought forward by former light heavyweight contender Misha Kirkunov and other fighters. It challenges certain UFC contract clauses, specifically around arbitration and class action waivers, and accuses the promotion of antitrust violations. A federal judge has set hearings for early February, where White is expected to give testimony first. UFC Vice President Tracy Long will also testify. Ahead of that hearing, both sides must file a joint report identifying outstanding discovery disputes. This lawsuit represents the latest chapter in ongoing legal battles over how fighter contracts are structured and whether UFC practices restrict athlete rights. We'll be watching closely as this story develops. Luke Rockhold questions Paddy Pimblett's big UFC push next up. Let's talk about the discussion brewing around Paddy Pimblett's rise in the UFC. With Pimblett set to headline UFC 324's interim lightweight title fight against Justin Gaethje, some veterans aren't sold on the hype. Former UFC champion Luke Rockhold recently weighed in, saying he thinks the UFC is doing everything it can to get Pimblett into a title position. Rockhold believes that interim titles don't always mean much, and expressed skepticism about the pace at which Pimblett is being elevated. He suggested that the promotion may be looking at Pimblett as a marketable star, especially in the UK, but questioned whether that push aligns with the competitive landscape. Pimblett himself has been riding a strong run in the octagon, but voices like Rockhold's show that not everyone is convinced the interim title path is the right one, or that it should carry the same weight as an undisputed championship. In one of the most talked about boxing events of the year, YouTuber turned professional boxer Jake Paul stepped into the ring with former two-time heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua in Miami on December 19, 2025. What followed was a brutal knockout loss for Paul, but his post-fight comments have sparked plenty of reaction. The matchup streamed on Netflix and drew a massive global audience, but it wasn't what many expected. Paul, 28, fought a tactical fight early, circling and avoiding heavy exchanges while trying to use movement to his advantage. Joshua, a seasoned boxer with championship pedigree, eventually broke through and scored a sixth-round knockout, sending Paul to the canvas and ending the bout decisively. During the fight, Paul was dropped multiple times and later confirmed that he suffered a broken jaw in 2 places from the final blow.